Okay, so what we're doing is we got some stew meat. It's about $7 beef, and I tossed it in flour and salt and pepper. Put olive oil in the pan, and I'm searing this off to get it like a little bit brown, but not to cook it. And then I'm gonna pull it out of here. I'm gonna put the meat in there, and I'm gonna add some red wine vinegar and beef broth and Worcestershire sauce to the pan to get the sticky stuff out. So I just turned off the heat because that's all I need. I don't want that to burn. And over here, I got carrot, I got a little celery. I like celery in mine. And then these are baby potatoes. So those are like, I think it's $4.50 for this, and you know, a couple, like $2 for the carrot, whatever the celery is, and let's see what else. That's about it. You can do more veggies, but I just usually pick these because I like my stew to be really hearty. Yeah, so then it's all gonna go in the Instapot here. And I have to check the time. I think it's like not long, like 30 minutes or something. Now if you cut the carrot really thick, it's not going to obliterate itself. And the potatoes you just put in whole. And they're gonna, you know, soak up some of that moisture, because you're gonna put a couple of cups of beef broth in. And so it's gonna get moisture all to that and not make it like too mushy. I mean, it'll still be fairly mushy, but whatever. And then you can serve that over white rice, or you can serve it over egg noodles, which are pretty cheap. I think there's like a couple dollars for a bag. So let's see. So that would be probably a meal with 6 servings for $7 plus $4 plus 11, 12, 13, 14, $15-ish. So pretty good value. So I'm gonna take this out, and then I'm gonna deglaze that. Okay, so this is what deglazing a pan looks like after you take that beef out. I put some red wine vinegar in here, just a little bit for taste, like a couple splashes. And what I'm gonna do is put beef broth in here, and I have beef broth like that. I go for low sodium, I don't like sodium. And bone broth. So you're gonna use like 2 cups. I think this is usually 4 cups. So I've got my measuring cup, and you can put 2 in there, but keep in mind you're gonna have to pour this back out into the Instapot. So just be careful when you're pouring all that hot liquids. Yay! Okay, so I've got 2 cups of beef broth in there, and I do a little bit of bone broth. You don't have to do this whole thing. If you put too much, you're pretty much making vegetable soup, beef vegetable soup. So it's like, it doesn't even matter like if you put too much liquid anyways, and your veggies are gonna soak up the extras. Especially with Instapot, you can put it on simmer if you wanna boil it down and get most of that extra liquid out. But look how good it looks. It's like a great tip. Rinse your cast iron pan as soon as you dump out that meat, and use a stiff brush to rinse it out. It'll save you hours of time. So put the meat in there with the drippings and beef broth from the pan. And now I'm gonna prep these things, throw them in. Okay, now I know you're wondering, Miss Cat, how do I prepare my carrots? So you do light peel. I mean, you can go crazy and peel these really a lot, but why waste your time? So I just peeled these in just a couple of minutes using this guy. So use one of these over the trash. So then you get all the yuck in the trashy. Hooray. But here's the thing. When you cut these, you don't want like to go this way, because you get little circles. You want to go this way, long ways, and you get nice, like pretty pieces like they show you in the restaurant. So you want to, like, instead of that, you're like that, dot, dot, dot. And I'll show you in a minute. Okay, here's just a quick example of how big you want them, and keep everything lined up with the larger ends towards the back, and as you get back there you can make smaller chunks. Okay, so that's what it looks like when it's done. Now I know these are huge, but I like mine totally big so they can like fit on like your spoonful. If you notice anything with like dots or whatever from the peel, you can just scrape it off, or you can throw it out, whatever. So there it is. That's prepared carrot. This is going in the Instapot with the yum, and I already put the potatoes in there. And I put a little bit of red wine vinegar over the celery. Was a little wilty because it's been in the fridge, so it's kind of bendy, but it's still good. So you just cut off the ends and cut off the tops and take all the leaves away. And you can do this just a nice dice, the same thing, like go like at an angle, and you get some pretty big pieces. Hey, for extra credit, if you want some mushrooms in there, if you like mushrooms, these are Baby Bella's. They're kind of pricey because they're the pretty brown ones, but you can substitute the white ones too if you want to save money. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you've got everything shoved in here. There's a lot of material, so I'm probably making a mistake by putting so much, but I did this last time and it came out okay. You can put some more bone broth in there. You can do some more squirts of red wine vinegar because you have so much fiber. And you can do some Worcester sauce too. So I've got all the broth at the bottom, so I'm going to flip around the pot a little bit and get everything like a little bit incorporated there. Okay, so I dumped some herbs and spices on top. So I used a little bit of Emerald's essence because it's freaking yummy. Oh my gosh. The organic sprinkle is good. You can get that on Amazon or they have it at H-E-B. I used pepper. This is the red wine vinegar I was using. Pretty good. Gives it like a more depth of flavor. And then this is the bone broth from H-E-B. Also, I dumped in Worcester sauce. And the, oh yeah, I showed you, I think, the beef broth. So there, I'm gonna check my recipe one more time, make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, I also put thyme in here, speaking of thyme. And I will check my recipe and make sure. Okay, I forgot one thing. So I usually put some tomato sauce because I like my beef stew a little bit on the tomatoey side. I'm a fan. And you can use tomato paste also because of all the bean broth or beef broth in there. It's going to be pretty wet. And then I also like using peeled Italian tomatoes, but they pretty much obliterate if you use them in the Instapot. So you can wait and put them in later, or you can put them in now and just hope for the best. I'll put them in now because I don't care. Blah. That's optional. Also, beef stew usually has onions, but onions don't agree with me, so I use celery. So I stirred it up, and I'm at pretty much maximum capacity, which this is a big no-no. So you can take some of this out if you want, put it in a freezer bag, and then you can make it for a different night if you want to do like just dinner for two. This is gonna be like dinner for probably. Show you, if you clean up as you go along, you end up with like nothing. So that's what I used, and the bowl was to toss the flour with the beef, which I didn't really show you. So I stirred it up and I'm gonna close it up. I'm gonna check the time on my recipe and then so you turn on your Instapot, set it to pressure cook in 35 minutes, and then you can hit start. Make sure you've got it locked. Close. Okay, there it goes. And it's gonna pressurize itself and then cook and then go back to keep warm. Very easy to use. Hooray! So we'll have beef stew you can actually serve within about 40 minutes.